Hey everybody, and welcome to the third video of VB.NET 2013 series. In this video I want to go through user input and error handling. Okay, there's two very simple concepts, and I'm still in the same program that I had on the last video. If you watched the whole thing, good for you. If you didn't, I don't blame you at all. It was a very long video, but as I said, I'm aiming these videos towards software design students, and I really want to get into some of the theory as well. Now, what I've done is I've cut my code down just to the arithmetic, however you want to pronounce it. I've still got my X and my Y. I haven't even changed the numbers of 6 and 50. For people that didn't stick around to watch the whole video, I'm just going to hit play. Let's have a look at what it does. Okay, that there is the result of my code. Right, so I've got addition, I've got subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and power of. Excuse me, I'm burping again. If I press enter, it'll close the program. Now, this is pretty boring. Every time I run my program, it's going to be the exact same set of numbers. The user has no involvement. It's boring as hell for them. If you tried to sell this, you'd make two parts of absolutely nothing. All right, we need to make some interactiveness in our program. Why not let the user choose one of the numbers? Or hell, why don't we just let them choose both of those numbers? Instead of 6 and 50 every single time, why don't we let them type in their own numbers? Okay. All of a sudden, we've got an interactive program. It's a lot more meaningful to the user. You still would make 2 bobs of nothing if you tried to sell it, but at least your program is a little bit more complex. Now, this here, I'm setting X to the literal integer 6 and Y to the literal integer 50, which means they never change. So first of all, I need to get rid of these lines of code. Now, that's not going to solve our problems. If I play my program here, I get an error. Look at that, divide by 0. Ooh, bad. Okay, I'm just going to stop my program up here. If you ever need to stop your program, you've got this yellow line complaining to you, just press the stop button at the top on your standard toolbar, and we're back to our code. Now, if you ever want to read something from the keyboard, you use this little baby right here. I said in the second video that Console.Readline is a very powerful command. In fact, it's even more powerful than what we used it already. Console.Readline will actually take what the user's typing on the keyboard and try and remember it. Okay? Even right now, it's trying to do that. It's very interesting. If I just put those numbers back in so I don't get an error and demonstrate this, this is a read line right here. If I just type, I can actually type whatever I want. I can type gobbledygook. As soon as I press enter, it's discarded. It's forgotten. So readline is actually letting the user type something in on a line and press the enter key. So it's a little bit more powerful than what we had. And to demonstrate how roughly it works, okay, this is going to go. I'm just using this as an example. I'm going to write line, and just to make things even more confusing, I'm going to put a read line on the inside. Okay, just to confuse you. Whoops. So I'm going to, first of all, whenever it comes to brackets, lots and lots and lots and lots of brackets. We had lots in the last program. You always stick with the rule of thumb. The brackets on the middle go first. So these are the brackets. We do the read line first, which will read our keyboard, and then we do the write line. So what I'm expecting here is that it'll read our keyboard and spit it back out at us. I'm hoping that will happen. Hello, everyone. So remember, it's waiting for my enter key. As soon as I press that enter, it spat it back out at me. Hello, everyone. Okay. I can actually extend this a little bit. Okay. Hello, everybody. I want you to try and think about it right now. What kind of data type would that be? Would it be an integer, single, boolean, character, or string? If you said string, you're a champion. You're an absolute champion. Okay. And I'm going to dim a variable called input, as string. What I'm going to do is I want to change the value of input, okay? To change the value of a variable, you need to use the assignment operator, which is equals. And what do we want to change it to? Well, I want to change input to whatever they're typing in on the keyboard, okay? And the command you always use for that is readline, okay? And if I want to just spit it back out, I'll just put it in a write line. Okay, and I can even use this same sort of style thing that we're using down here, like addition, and then the concatenate operator. So I could put U typed in, input. Don't forget you concatenate afterwards on concat. And I can just, so it's right here right now. My code is executing this line. Input equals console.readline. So hello everyone. You typed in hello everyone, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. We want to be able to type in what we want and remember it. Okay, and all of a sudden we've got interactivity, we've got users making choices, and we've got much more powerful programs just because of that one little function. Okay, so if we want to step this up a little bit, let's get rid of this, including this little bit here. And I want the users to be able to choose their numbers. Now, using the exact same thing that we just did, I had input equals console.readline. So let's do that again. Console.readline. Okay. So the users are now choosing the value of X, and I'm choosing the value of Y for them. So let's say I type in the number 60. Can you see every operation? 60 plus 50 is 110. 60 minus 50 is 10, and so forth. So we're actually choosing the value of Y. If we want to extend that a little bit further, we can do readline for Y as well. And I'll press play. Now bear in mind, I'm on the first read line here. So if I type in the number 2, and I'm on the second read line now, it's a little bit invisible, but we'll explain that in a second. So I'm on the second read line for Y, type in 6. There's all my operations, done with 2 and 6. Okay, because I'm using variables. Ta-da! Wondrous! Magical things are happening. The biggest problem right now is the user's expected to type in 2 numbers, but I'm not telling them to do that. And it makes things a little bit confusing. If you don't tell your user what they have to do first, then they're not going to know what you're expecting them to do. So, for example, I always like to put a console.write above those lines, okay? Not a write line, and I'll explain why in a second. And I can go, please enter a number. And I like to put a space after it. Again, I'll explain in a second. So please enter a number. So I can type in 2 again. And again, it's on the second read line, so it's expecting another number. So see, if I type in 6, it still works perfectly. But again, we're not prompting for that second number. So you simply put right here above Y. So console.write, please enter another number. All right. So essentially, we're prompting the user, getting one number, prompting the second user, and getting a second number. So hopefully, to get another number. It's the exact same thing. Nothing has changed in our code, but the user now knows what they're supposed to do. Enter a number. Now, you'll always get jerkwads that go, enter a number, hello, and crash your program. Okay? We can fix this. However, not going to fix it right now. I promised to explain to you why I used write and not write line. Okay? Here's a quick example. I'll change that to write line. Please enter a number. All of a sudden, my cursor's down here. If I type in a number, it appears underneath, and it's just ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. So you're best off just using write, and if you put a space at the end of it, it just looks nice. It looks neat, and the user knows what they're supposed to do. Okay, that's a quick. Whoop! I've been an idiot and crashed my program. That's essentially almost it. Okay, you've got console.readline. We're almost done here. Okay, but let's say they're going to type in, you're going to get idiots, and they're going to type in hellos, and they're going to type in everything under the sun, and they're going to crash your program. Okay, this would cause a critical error or a runtime error, and it would shut your program down. But what if we don't want that? What if we don't want these errors to happen? Well, we need to introduce some error handling, and I'm going to introduce you that right now. Okay, let's say, for example, we need to figure out what lines are causing the error to begin with. Okay, so if I press play, I type in hello, get rid of the break, yep, and you can see it's highlighted this line of code right here. That line there is the one that caused my error. Okay, is there any other lines that can cause this error? Well, I'm pretty sure you've already guessed, but if I type in hello, it'll cause an error on this read line. So really, we need to error handle both these read lines to make sure that the user isn't an idiot and causes an error. So what we can do for that is called a try catch. Okay, if I just type in try, you'll see it pops up and press enter. And all of a sudden we've got this big block of code. We probably don't know what to do with it, but essentially bear with me. Between try and catch, so this spot here, this gap, is where you're going to put your code which might cause an error. Okay, now I know the console.writes aren't going to cause an error, but I'm going to put them in there because it keeps my code neat. Okay, pop all that code in there. Use spaces to everybody. Use them to your advantage. So I'm going to try and error handle these lines of code. So try this code. If an error occurs on any of these lines, Visual Basic jumps down to here. And to emphasize that, we'll write you caused an error. Okay, I'm just going to put some white space because I don't like it sitting together. And press play. Enter a number. Hello. Oh, okay, another line that I have to error handle. But if we let's have a look at our program. It actually just said you caused an error, and that's actually quite interesting because it caused an error here. It caused an error here, but our error handling only exists just on these 4 lines. Okay, so we need to actually do another try and catch down here, and we can do that later on. But bear with me for the moment. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of these lines because I don't want to error handle them just yet. I will, but not just yet. Type in hello, you caused an error. Now what actually happens is that, let's say it was actually this line that caused the error. It skips over this line and jumps down to here. Because we haven't put a value inside X, a proper value, it stays at 0, and so does Y. And that's why you'll see, if I type in hello, it considers Y 0. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 minus 0 is 2, and so forth. 2 times 0, and etc. Okay, but this isn't a very good error message. You caused an error. That's great. What was the error? Okay, what caused our problem in the first place? Well, Visual Basic gives us this nice little variable here called EX as an exception. If I type in EX dot and come down to message, this is what we want. If I type in hello, conversion from string hello to type integer is not valid. That's perfect. That's the kind of error message that we want to have. Okay, let's bring these lines of code back in, and we'll error handle them as well. So let's put in a try. Let's put our lines of code. So console.WriteLine, division, ampersand x divided by y, and then on the next line, we'll do our modulus. We have to do this with modulus as well because it's a division as well. Alright, and that operator is mod. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so division and modulus might cause an error, so we're going to error handle them. If they do, let's give them the error message. And let's press play. So enter a number, 5 and 0, attempted to divide by 0. There you go. It doesn't crash our program. We exit normally and everything is good. So that is just a basic form of user interaction. This is going to help you for more of the programs. But there's a couple more things that we can add in there. A read line doesn't have to just be a sentence or a number. It can actually be fractional numbers. So we can use singles or doubles. We can use booleans, and we can even use characters. So in this particular case, I want to use character as an example for this. I'm going to wipe this code. Please pause the video and type it in yourself if you're stuck. But let's bring in a character. So let's go dim C as char. Now, if you're worried about these little green squigglies, it just means that you've made a variable, but you're not using it. And it's asking you to reconsider whether or not you should have it. Okay, so if I go C, well, no, I should always write first. Enter our character. Okay, because it's always nice to ask them to do something before you just do it. I can go C equals console.readline. Okay, well, let's just write that to the screen. Write line, you pressed, and then let's do concatenate Z, concat, console.readline so it doesn't disappear. Enter a character, G, you press G. 6, you press 6. Okay, and so forth. That's pretty straightforward. But let's say, for example, it's really hard. We can actually type in whole words. Please enter a character. Hello gives us H. Now that doesn't cause an error. That's no means of the words would that be a bad thing. But realistically, we want it so they can only type in one character at a time, and they don't have to press enter. This is really handy for menu-based programs, and we're going to do this next lesson when we get to if statements. Let's say we've got a menu of options, and it says number 1, add something. Number 2, delete something. Number 3, edit something. Number 4, quit. All right, and then it says select a character. All right, realistically, we don't want to have to type in 1, then press enter, and then wait for the next menu. If we hit 1, it should take us straight into the menu. Okay, it should take us to adding something. If we press 4, it should straight away quit the program. We shouldn't have to wait to press that enter key. I know it doesn't sound like much, but if you're using the program all day, it could mean hours taken off. So we're going to introduce another command that I didn't introduce in the second video, which is called read key. Okay, obtains the next character pressed by the user. Now, what that does is it'll read it straight away and move on. So if you ever wanted to press any key to continue, you would use read key. All right, now here's the problem. If I just do read key, it gives me an error. This is that blue squiggly line, errors, okay, in your code. And it said, cannot convert console key info into character. All right, so we need to do something extra on this. We need to do read key dot key char. And all of a sudden the error is gone. So this means, bear with me, if I press one character on the keyboard, it's going to continue without the enter key. H. You pressed H. Now I don't like how it appears on the same line. So to fix that, empty write line. Or writ line, apparently. So press H. You pressed H. 6. Oh no, 1. Wow, I'm switched on. Semicolon. And so forth. Okay? So read key fires off straight away without the enter key. Alright? And it's very handy, as I said, for menus and things like that nature. Okay, so that's the end of this video, everybody, of user input and error handling. For the next video, we're going to get into a little bit more user input and a little bit more decisions in our program, a little bit more interactivity, because right now we're still working from the top of the program to the bottom of the program. There's no jumping around or forgetting things or repeating things. So for the next video, we're going to look at if statements or decisions, they're called. All right, and this is where things are going to get very interesting. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you at the next video. Happy programming.